Yes, good morning. I am Joan and we are from the Philippines. I'm with
I'm Joy, but my real name is Marites Redonia.
yes, last year we were volunteers at the National Synodal Consultation in the Philippines, and during this time
Mm.
we really saw how synodality is a vision of the Pope, right?
Yes, 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 yeah.
um like the bishops were there, the priests were there,
Coming
the
from different parts of the
of the
Philippines,
Philippines.
represented by different laity, no?
Yes, it was a beautiful scene also, looking at the bishops piling up. This is very simple,
Yeah.
examples,
It
right?
was really an act of humility on their
On
part,
their part
imagine, no?
also, they were piling up, lining up to
Yeah,
get food for
yeah,
themselves.
yes.
No one is serving them,
Yeah,
like what we usually know of as hierarchical.
yeah.
Yeah, perhaps this is our attempt really to be synodal,
Synodal, yeah.
right?
Mm.
And talking about synodality, this brings us to some Filipino cultural
Expression.
expressions, some Filipino cultural practices.
Yes.
Yeah, in the Philippines, we have this jeepney, the jeepney ride. And in our culture, for example, we're going somewhere, we have to ride the jeepney, and then there's the two of us riding the jeepney, and there's only one slot in the
Yeah.
jeepney. We will not ride because she will be left behind.
Yes.
So
We
this
have to be
is, we
together.
have to be together. And this perhaps a Filipino jeepney cultural experience is also Filipino synodality. I don't know. What do you think?
Yes. And then when we want to stop, we just have to say, para lang. No? Okay.
Para,
Yeah. Para
yeah.
po, which means stop.
Stop
Stop.
and we go together
Yeah.
and in that place, right?
Yes. So,
So perhaps there are also some Filipino cultural expressions that would speak of synodality. For example, in the indigenous people's culture, I had this experience of immersing with the Blaans in Mindanao. Mindanao is southern part of the Philippines, and the Blaans are one of the largest ethno-linguistic tribe. And they have this expression of welcoming visitors to their home. It's called fles.
mm,
And fles is something that connotes trust between the one who is welcomed and the one who welcomes. And you don't just hear fles to someone who visits the place for the first time.
yeah.
It's heard after some time of, informal visits perhaps and dialogue.
Mm,
And then when you're able to gain the trust, that's when you hear the word flesh.
less.
This is something that's cultural also. When we involve the indigenous peoples in our programs, in our ministry in the church, we don't just really involve them and, hey, come on, these
Yeah.
are your work, you do this and that. We have to
Yeah.
respect
The relationship has to be trust, no, to be founded in
in
trust. Yeah.
trust.
Trust
The
is,
relationship has to be founded in trust.
yeah.
And perhaps we, like, I remember Archbishop Peter
Yeah, this
this
morning,
morning
during
in
his
his
homily.
homily. He said perhaps it's time that we stop conducting seminars
Seminars,
and
conferences,
conferences like this. It's
and
time for
have
us
to
to walk the talk,
talk. Yes.
putting the concepts of synodality into
Yes.
practice
I think in the different sectors, no, of our
in the different
society, in our
sectors.
families, no, yeah, indigenous
Yes,
peoples,
yeah.
in our students,
Our
diba? In our, yeah.
students. One of the beautiful topics, perhaps, that has been discussed in this conference
Yeah.
was the involvement of women.
Yeah.
How women can be involved and
Yeah.
engaged in church ministries. In the Philippines, I think that's not really a big problem.
Yes, so
What
it's
do
not
you
an
think?
issue. It's not
It's
an
not
issue.
really a
No,
big
we really,
issue.
yeah, we have this respect and we acknowledge the the contribution of women. No, not only
Yeah.
in politics, of course, in economy, but even in our families.
For example, in our experience
Yeah.
during the synodal consultations, we're
Yes.
teachers from the
Mm-mm.
university. But when we were there, we volunteered to help out in the in the what do you call it, the smallest job there could
Yes.
be like giving out papers.
Yes, we're asked
Yeah,
to distribute
distribute
papers and then
papers.
to call somebody if you want to print it, okay.
Yes,
They're asked to
to
do
help
something.
out in the distribution of
Yes.
snacks. Um, and you don't feel like, oh, this is a an inferior job. No,
Mm,
you don't feel like that because,
yes.
you know, perhaps also like yesterday, was it yesterday? The good cardinal also mentioned that everybody knows synodality and no one
Why
really
they
knows
know
synodality,
synodality?
perhaps because the challenge really is, would this be remain like just a concept,
Yeah.
or can we just really put
Put
this
it
down into
into practice.
practice?
Yeah. It's
We
about
walk the
time. I
talk.
think it's about time, no?
Yes, and bringing, this synodality as a concept into attitude,
Yeah.
right? If we
Yeah.
imbibe the
It's not an
attitude,
action, but actually it's an
it's an
attitude that we
attitude.
really have to embrace. Kasi anyway, synodality comes from the attitude of Jesus Christ himself,
Yes,
diba?
we are brought back
Gospel.
to that,
Uh,
attitude of Jesus.
Jesus, of embracing the poor, the marginalized, the outcast, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we remember like Jesus was walking
Yeah.
on the road to
Oh,
Emmaus. He was
Emmaus.
there, but he did not announce, I'm here. Yeah, he was silently listening.
Listening.
And perhaps, as mentioned yesterday during the talk, to listen is not an end in itself, it's a
Yes. It's a part
process.
of the
Part
process.
of the process. So we listen to act, we listen to discern to act,
To learn, no,
and
from
to
one
learn from
another
one
in
another.
order to really, fulfill the mission entrusted to us.
Yeah,
Diba?
beautiful. And
Beautiful.
if we are together in this walk, in this journey,
Mm.
I remember a Filipino, what do you call this? A Filipino, a tool for cleaning. The
Walis.
walis
Walis, yeah.
ting ting.
Walis.
It's a, what's walis in English? Oh,
Broom.
a
Yeah. A
broom, yeah,
broom.
a broom made of coconut,
Yes.
right? And for it to be, to function well,
It
it
has
has
to
to
be
be
together.
together.
You have to tie it
Yes,
together.
you have to tie it together for it to function well. Perhaps it's also one of the challenges that synodality can
Yeah.
put us up, because we have to really be together in this mission of of this is synodality is not something that's really new,
Yes.
right? It's something that brings us back to the tradition, to Jesus' time, to Jesus'
Mm,
attitude of
yeah.
involving those in the margins, in the
Calls us to remember.
peripheries. It
Yeah.
calls us to
And
remember, Jesus' attitude of listening, of loving, of caring,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And dialogue.
Yes.
So there's a culture of care, culture of
We
encounter,
call it in Filipino malasakit. No?
malasakit.
It's malasakit.
Malasakit. It's not just pity.
pity. No?
It's not just
It's a mercy in action. Eh.
mercy
The-
and compassion,
yeah, compassion,
right?
yes.
Malasakit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about our LGBTQ communities,
Yes. Mm.
how what is the approach,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
I think it's more on pastoral
Yeah, it's
approach.
more on the pastoral approach of respecting them because they're also baptized, no? Like
Yes.
us, no? They also you receive the same dignity that we have, so we need
Yes.
to respect them.
We are equal in dignity. In the Philippines, we promote respect,
Yeah.
and
Even among our students, right? Because we have several students who belong to this community.
community.
No, we really need to understand and listen to them with respect.
Dialogue is the
Yeah,
key. Yeah,
dialogue
we
is
listen to
really-
them, but we teach what we're supposed to teach
Yes.
as Catholic teachers. Yeah. And yeah, perhaps dialogue is the key. It's pastoral, it's accompaniment. How we accompany them in this situation.
They have to know that
Right.
they are loved. Eh.
They are
Diba? They
loved.
are loved. Kasi once they learn that they are loved, they will follow you, diba? No, based on our experiences, no, the moment these young people and even adults no, who are members no, of this LGBTQ community will experience or will feel that they are loved, diba? They will follow us. Eh. They will obey.
They will listen.
They will listen.
They will listen,
Yeah.
right? So it's accompaniment,
Yeah.
it's shepherding,
Yeah. It's synodality, no?
It's
Walking,
synodality.
walking with these people.
Right, right. But we stick to what we are supposed to teach.
Yes.
Yeah, the doctrine of our faith.
Yeah.
And we when we speak of, everybody has dignity, the fact that we are all created in the image of God,
Mm.
right? That doesn't make them less human,
Just
right?
because they are
Just
members of
because
this
they're members of
community.
this community. And in the church, we have this pastoral care for
Yeah.
homosexuals,
Yes.
right?
Mm-mm.
And it's a challenge for teachers like
Yeah.
us to have students like them. But perhaps this is really responding to that call
Yeah.
of, respecting everyone.
Mm.
No one is being left behind.
No one should be excluded.
No one should be excluded. The call to synodality.
Yeah.
We walk with them.